What's up, friends? This is Manni, and the new Gunship Paladin from Anvil has just arrived in Star Citizen on the PTU, and I'm already flying it right here. We've seen it first on the CitizenCom, and at the same time as they introduced it there, it became available in the PTU. You see it here next to the Anvil Valkyrie and Asgard, basically having the same size. And we're gonna look at the stats. We're gonna see how many. We're now having a little ship tour, and also we'll look exactly at the stats and see how much damage output you can get out of this ship. We also look at who controls which guns, right? What guns does the pilot have control over when he's alone? What guns do the co-pilots have, right? And also there is this turret, the quad size 5 gun turret that can be on the top of the ship, but it can also rotate around and underneath the ship. Super interesting, similar to what the Javelin, I believe a quad size 10 gun turret or whatever it will be, also can do. So very sleek design even from the beginning. Let's have a look at the stats, okay? We have 4 times size 5 on the remote gun turret, and we have 4 times size 4 under pilot control. We have a size 3 energy shield, similar to what Corsair and Constellations have. So tremendous shield energy. And when we do the meta build, we remove 1 cooler at least, and having attritions, 8,300 DPS is the combined firepower of 2 people sitting in this ship. The pilot alone will have 3,200 DPS with 4 times size 4. Okay, same DPS as, for example, a Starlancer Tech has, or a Starfarer Gemini, and so on. 4 times size 4, okay? Also interesting or worth noting is that you have 8 size 3 rockets and 2 size 4, or missiles rather. And the size 4s, they look a little bit like torpedoes, but I think those are just basically missiles. And what's also interesting is that those size 4s do like 4,000 damage, and the much smaller size 3 do 3,300 damage. Like, what? Yo, the size 4 literally has twice the mass compared to the size 3. Shouldn't it scale massively upwards when it comes to its damage output versus the size 3? Also, since size 4 is relatively rare. But no, it's almost the same damage output as a size 3. A little interesting, right? Also, you saw on the bottom, this is where the turret will move into when you move it around. We'll see this in a second. The entrance is to the left side with the ramp. This is how you get inside the ship. Inside of this, we will find a bunch of like weapon racks and the escape pods. And then we go into the lower main corridor here, where on the right side there are SCU storage boxes here on the ground with grid. 1 SCU. I believe like four of them you can put here. And on the other side, it's meant to be a corridor for walking by, but I guess you could also store more SCU there. There's a ladder going up in case, the other staircase is blocked or whatever. And then we have on the bottom 2 remote turret gunners. Those guys can take control of the pilot main guns. So if the pilot wants to delegate, is that even a word? Like give the control over to other people, the guys down there can take control over the left and right wing guns, double size 4s, and basically have a much better angle to fire because they can turn around everywhere and shoot back and front and up and down, right? If you control it as the pilot only, obviously you're going to be firing fixed frontally forward with a slight gimbal, okay? So your gunners could do that more effectively. However, they would just take the same guns that you use as a pilot too. Now the ship, however, is not very mobile. In the back you have here the engineering panels and the access to the components, and in the front we'll see in a minute on the upper deck the basically cockpit with co-pilot and pilot seat. Also worth noting is that, like I said, the ship is relatively not mobile. What's the opposite of that? Träge in German. Yeah, it's not really handling very fast. I would compare it with a Corsair maybe, or a Constellation. So it is a rather slow and like comfortable gunship that will just unleash a massive hellstorm of firepower on the enemy. Alright, and here's the pilot seat. Let's figure out what he can control. And by the way, if you enjoy the news updates and you want to stay tuned on everything Star Citizen, please consider staying tuned and subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Also, there's a link down below, a referral code in case you're not yet playing the game, you want to get into it. In a short time, I make a video about what starter packs are very interesting to consider. But yeah, then with my link you can get in and get yourself started with more starting credits by using my link. Interesting to note is that the coolers were by default deactivated, and I was able to power by 100% with energy weapons, by the way, weapon systems, shields, and engines. And you see we are controlling, as the main pilot, the quad size, 4x size 4 guns. So 2 on the outer sides, on each wing. Okay, so that's, like I said, same firepower as a Starlancer TAC, or as a Gemini, or a Starfarer in general. Lots of firepower. And yeah, that is controlled just by you as the pilot, and while enjoying a nice convenient size 3 Corsair / Andromeda shield, okay? So, lots of shield energy. Also, you see the VTOL thrusters are running, they're working, they can turn around and function properly, and it's a very nice looking ship. Sleek design. Interesting also that there is so much room inside the ship because it does not seem so large from the outside, right? To me, it looks way smaller than a Corsair when I look at it from the outside, but it actually isn't that much smaller. I was looking here for the buttons to close these, the blast shields, but I couldn't figure it out. So instead of showing it to you here, maybe the guys underneath can do it. Instead of this, we're just gonna look at a second of from the CitizenCon here, where they showed us how it looks, okay? So guys are getting ready in the ready room, being super hyped. It looks really awesome, man. And this is what it looks like when the blast shields are closing. They close first and then they open in this little, like in this shape where you can still look through. Very nice. So let us check out the quad size 5, the highlight of this ship. The quad size 5 gun turret and who controls it. So let's leave that seat and check out the co-pilot seat, because that quad size 5 turret is actually a remote turret, which means technically I believe you might be able in the future to have an AI blade take over and you have control over it as a pilot too. That would be crazy though, right? Imagine the firepower. But yeah, so you can, you see in the top left, we're removing the turret and moving it somewhere else. It's moving on the bottom of the ship now. It was just on the front, where there's a button for it on the cockpit here in the front, a retract. But now we can fire like a drop ship underneath the ship. With this level of firepower, absolutely brutal. Okay, 4x size 5. On a we're using Galdarine repeaters, and those are fast anti-fighter weapons, and they still get 2,600 DPS out of that. That is so crazy. But if you were to move, look, we're moving with the turret now. I can't turn left and right, but I can shoot still while it's moving. If you mount size 5 attritions on there, you have 5,200 DPS. Or 5,800, how much was it? Just from those 4 size 5 guns. Insane, right? And here you see how the turret is wandering from the top position to the bottom position. Don't mind the glitching guys somehow peeking through here. It's funny, sometimes you can see him. It's the new ship Shiv, which I'm also going to make a video about sometime soon. But let's move this turret one more time to the upper position. This is how it looks. Isn't that awesome? How the turret moves from the bottom position to the upper one and unfolding its quad size 5 nightmare performance above. Holy smokes, that is so nice. I like that. So in a minute we're gonna look at the prices of the ship, because there are 2 different prices. First, you can buy it from store credits rolling around for $416 US with VAT. value-added tax here in Germany, 19%, or 386 for real-world money. But the ship's value is set to be 350. And there is currently, probably without paying taxes though, and there is currently a Warbound upgrade available for it, which the cheapest ship to go from, by the way, is the Stinger. Which is funny, because for the Stinger is also a Warbound upgrade, which means you can make a CCU chain here, from the Apollo to the Triage to the Stinger to the Paladin, right? Very interesting that you can do that, but this is how you can upgrade to the ship from another ship that you might have. For instance, the Mole or the Aquila are also at the $315 step, where you can get for $11 the upgrade to the Paladin, in case you wanted to. Alright, so that's the video about the Paladin now. There will be a full gameplay review coming, where we go deep into combat. We're exploring the full capabilities of the ship, also showing all sorts of different setups. So stay tuned for that, ladies and gents. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos. Manni off.